welcome back to Podcast Talk. I'm your host, Mr. LG, and I'm thrilled to have you joining me today. If you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe and like button. We're aiming to reach our goal of 47 subscribers. A big salute to all my returning listeners. Your support means the world to me. Before we delve into our main topic for today, let's quickly touch on some other significant events happening around the globe. First off, I'd like to extend my sincere condolences to the families affected by the tragic helicopter crash in Washington, D.C., which collided with a landing commercial airline. This catastrophic event has claimed lives. And as we wait further investigation updates, my heart goes out to those grieving. It's moments like this that remind us how fragile life can be. Switching gears to politics. We've been hearing some intriguing news about President Trump. Reports suggest that he's contemplating firing federal agents. Rumors swirling around indicate that he may seek revenge against those who have opposed him. It's an ongoing saga in American politics, and as developments unfold, we'll be keeping a close eye on the implications. In the entertainment world, rapper A$AP Rocky's trial continues to make headlines. A$AP Rocky, the alleged victim and key witness, is currently being grilled during cross-examination. It's been a rocky, no pun intended, ride for Rocky, who struggled to answer some tough questions from Rocky's defense attorney. This case has garnered substantial media attention. We are all waiting to see how it unfolds. Now, on to the financial front. The Dow Jones took quite a dive recently, spurred by news surrounding Trump's proposed tariffs targeting China, Mexico, and Canada. Analysts predict that these tariffs could impact the economy significantly and potentially ignite inflation, a looming concern for many investors. Speaking of investments, I'm invested in NVIDIA, which is exploring innovative ways to deal with China's DeepSeek, which offer cheap AI chips. Bitcoin is also hovering around a critical support line of 102K. With Trump's tariffs on the horizon, we may see some corrections in the market. It's a wild ride in the financial realm right now, and staying informed is essential. Now let's shift gears and dive into our main discussion. Diddy has officially been hit with a superseding indictment, now facing 2 additional charges based on allegations from 2 more victims. This is breaking news that caught the public's attention. And as we know, when the federal authorities step in, it's serious business. P. Diddy is denying all charges and planning to fight it out in court, but the stakes are high. Let's take a closer look at these charges. It's crucial to emphasize that these new allegations are criminal in nature and complicates matter even further for Diddy, who is already handling numerous civil cases against him. The gravity of the situation cannot be overstated. These allegations could have significant repercussions for his career and legacy. So let's dig deeper. Sean Diddy Combs once tackled a victim over an apartment balcony. Prosecutors alleged in a new indictment that added 2 more victims and an earlier start date to disgrace star's alleged reign of sexual terror. I think we all heard about this story where he's supposed to hung somebody over the balcony, at least allegedly. I heard one story about a rapper who had who was doing some business with Cassie. I believe that story was. This could be a whole nother story right here they talking about in this indictment. But we did hear a story about him dangling somebody over the balcony. It sort of reminds you of that movie 5 Heartbeats. Big Red and all them. Hell, one of the singers out of the balcony, out of a window rather. But yeah, we all heard that story. And they say he sexually abuses victims for at least 2 decades from 2004 to 2024. Federal prosecutors said in a superseding indictment filed Thursday. Previously, the earliest allegations dated to 2008. It seems like they going around the years 2000 or something. That's what a lot of these allegations, a lot of these lawsuits that come out of the 2020s, 2010s, mostly in the 2000s. That's what it seemed like. Even though his career kicked off in the 90s. The new indictment adds new accusations against the music mogul. Probably be some more coming out. You know, this guy been out there for a long time. And it's been so long, a lot of this stuff he probably don't even remember. But again, it's allegedly. And we must let the judicial system play out in court. All this has to play out in court. And these people are anonymous. A lot of these people who file these lawsuits, they are anonymous. And the law believe, well, the people that's handling this case, they believe that P. Diddy has a lot of power. He has a lot of reach. And he will try to coerce those witnesses and the people that's filing these charges. They believe he will have some type of influence on them, intimidate them in some type of way. They really believe that. I believe that too. But again, all this stuff is allegedly. Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires. This guy was sure enough a freak, at least allegedly. The indictment read, accusing him of using such tactics to force 3 unnamed women to engage in commercial sex acts. And you gotta be on some type of drugs or something. They claim that this thing, this freak off stuff, these sexual encounters last for days. That's unimaginable right there. But who knows? They've been doing it for so long, you know, they can go that long, I guess. And Combs will keep the women obedient and compliant by feeding them narcotics. So you feeding them hypnotizing type of drugs. Isn't that something like ecstasy? According to the superseding indictment. Now, I did not read the indictment. I'm sure there will be many vloggers out there who will read this indictment. This is a public case right here, so they will have all kind of analysts. They will be reading that indictment as well. So you will just look around on YouTube, you'll see it out there. Like the freak off, these commercial sex acts involving Combs and a female victim were prearranged, sometimes lasting multiple days. Again, that's unimaginable. Be sitting around taking drugs and having sex for 2 or 3 days. And then they say they will use IV to, I guess, bring them back to normal. That's a little bit too much for me. A little marijuana, maybe. But all that extra stuff, I don't need that. Even if I'm around that type of situation and I know I'm not into that, I'm gonna leave. Some of these people that be telling their stories, how they went to these parties and they seen certain things, and some of that stuff don't actually seem believable. It really don't. Like, you don't know P. Diddy. You just end up at one of these parties or whatever. You saw what you saw. And your story has holes in it. At least some of the people I've seen on interviews. Now, there's some people that be credible, that seen some of the things he did to the woman Cassie. You have bodyguards that have seen certain things. Some people did go to those parties and did see some stuff and didn't mention any of it. And some of these people are on those videos. Many people think that J-Lo is on one of those videos. They speculate that's why that guy divorced her. He figured that information was going to be coming out, that she's on some of those videos. So what is sex trafficking? I looked it up and I found out some interesting information. Sex trafficking is human trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Perpetrators of the crime are called sex traffickers or pimps, people who manipulate victims to engage in various forms of commercial sex with paying customers. Sex traffickers use force, fraud, and coercion as they recruit, transport, and provide their victims as prostitutes. Sometimes victims are brought into a situation of dependency on the traffickers, financially or emotionally. Every aspect of sex trafficking is considered a crime, from acquisitions to transportation and exploitation of victims. This includes any sexual exploitation of adults or minors, including child sex tourism and domestic minor sex trafficking, it has been called a form of modern slavery because of the way victims are forced into sexual acts non-consensually in a form of sexual slavery. Sex trafficking or human trafficking is a global problem. And you have organizations out there that fights against human trafficking. Now, here's a profile of traffickers in the United States, and this was done from an analyst back in 2017, whereas 1,416 child sex traffickers arrested in the United States in the last decade found that 75.4% of traffickers were male and 24.4% were female. The average age of male traffickers was 29.2, and the average age of female traffickers was 26.3. Of those whose race was identified, 71.7% African American, 20.5% Caucasian, 3.7% Hispanic, and the remaining classified as Pacific Islanders, Asian, and other. That's incredible, y'all. Black guys out there, y'all some big pimping. There's various types of human trafficking, and certain situations fit in certain categories. But they consider this a pimp-controlled trafficking. In pimp-controlled trafficking, the victim is controlled by a single trafficker, sometimes called a pimp. The victim can be controlled by the trafficker physically, psychologically, and emotionally to obtain control over their victims. Traffickers will use force and drugs, as well as emotional tactics. There's a lot of people out there that be lost. They be separated from their family. They get hooked on these drugs. They start trafficking them into different cities. This is big business for real. And then you can have gang control trafficking. And one of the other tactics they use is grooming. You got people that brand some of their victims. That's crazy. Then you got cyber sex trafficking. You got forced marriages. So it's a lot of things that goes into this human trafficking thing. And by definition, this is what they're using against P. Diddy. Basically how they outlined it in its definition: force, fraud, and coercion, transport. That's pretty much they say he's doing, or allegedly. Those are some interesting facts about human trafficking. We see it out there. It's definitely down here in this city, and I've spoken to them in the past. I see that many of them are separated from their families. Many of people do this as a career. Not only do they have females out there, they have males out there, male prostitutes that live gay lifestyle. I don't have anything against gay people or whoever live that lifestyle, but you do have those out there, and these are males. What's fascinating is how the public perception around celebrities shifts in the wake of such accusations. P. Diddy, once revered as a titan in the hip-hop industry, now finds himself embroiled in legal turmoil. It raises important questions about accountability and the pressure that comes with fame. Many fans are left grappling with mixed feelings. Do we separate the art from the artist, or should we hold them accountable for their alleged actions? Moreover, the timing of these developments is striking. In recent years, we've seen a cultural shift where survivors of alleged misconduct are finding their voices and speaking out. The Me Too movement has empowered many who have previously felt silence, making it more difficult for celebrities to evade scrutiny for their actions even years later. As we continue to unpack this story, it's essential to acknowledge the broader implications of Diddy's situation. Not only does it highlight issues of dynamics in the entertainment industry, but it also provokes discussion on the complexities of due process and public opinion. In our fast-paced digital age, news spread rapidly, and often before all the facts are clear. leaving those involved in legal battles vulnerable to public backlash. We'll be monitoring this unfolding case closely, keep you updated with any new information that arises as Diddy prepares to face these charges. One can only wonder how this will affect not just his personal life, but the music industry as a whole. Will this mark a turning point or simply become another chapter in the saga of celebrity scandals? Only time will tell. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Podcast Talk. As always, I appreciate your engagement and support. Don't forget to share your thoughts on today's topic in the comments or via social media. Until next time, stay informed and keep the conversation going. Salute.